Hello and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel in the first place. Today we have another multiple character X listener. This is the part 2. There are more characters in the other part, which was posted the day before this one. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into it. Izuku Midoriya. After attending UA, you and Izuku decided to spend the rest of the Friday at his house. Once you plopped onto his bed in his bedroom, you yawned faintly and curled up with his pillow. "Are you tired too?" Izuku mumbled. As he picked up his room and started to undress from his vest, you nodded and yawned again. However, before you could give any type of response, Izuku's mother called him from downstairs. I'll be right back," he grinned. After giving you a peck on the cheek, he rushed out of the bedroom and down the steps. The talk about UA exams went on longer than expected. During that 15 minutes of trying to get comfortable, you finally fell into a deep sleep. "Sorry, love, I didn't think I..." After seeing your sleeping form once Izuku entered his bedroom, he stopped speaking and smiled gently. "My baby must have been really exhausted." "Well, I don't blame them," he chuckled. It didn't take long for him to cuddle up beside you and fall asleep along with you. When Izuku's mother peeked into his bedroom, she softly cheered and squealed at the sight of Izuku cuddling you in his arms. "How cute," she whispered to herself after snapping a photo. Shoto Todorki. Today, UA classes 1A through C were taking a field trip to the Grand Museum of Heroes. It was halfway across the city, and buses were loaded up after the lunch hour. "This is so awesome," Kirishima shouted. You grinned and laughed a bit as he tried to continue to make the cloud above his head disappear. After hearing him constantly complain about the air being too hot, you created him a blizzard cloud, which flakes bits of snow. You were sitting next to Shoto towards the back of the bus, and you were holding onto his arm and keeping your cheek pressed against his shoulder. The bus ride was already 10 minutes of being on the road, and you were getting more and more tired by the minute. Shoto was the same way, so both of you ended up falling asleep around the same time. When you awoke 20 minutes later, due to the bus squealing to a stop, you immediately blushed furiously. Shoto's lips were pressed against the temple of your forehead, his arms were around you, your legs were cast over his knees, and he was softly snoring away. It didn't take you long to fall back asleep since you didn't want to awake his peaceful sleep. Tenya Iida. You groaned loudly as you played on your phone. You were also trying to lean against Tenya, but he kept removing his arm. "Can you stop moving? You'll give me a cramp," Tenya shouted back. Since it was a weekend, you and Tenya decided to try and spend time with one another at his house. Unfortunately, it wasn't going as romantic or calmly as most people would have it when hanging out with their significant other. Tenya was hogging up the couch since he was lying back on it and using one arm to scroll through his phone, as the other hung off the couch. You were lying beside him, and halfway on him, but using his arm as a pillow wasn't working out for you. After turning off your phone and placing it on the coffee table, you rolled onto your side and nuzzled your face into his neck crease. "Good nap," Yoon mumbled. "Falling asleep at this time of day? That's..." Instead of rambling, he sighed and was the one to click off his phone, take off his glasses, and turn towards you. About 13 minutes later, his eyes fluttered open, only to witness you still lying asleep in his arms. It made him flustered, and he still stroked your hair with one hand, as the other used its thumb to roll over your knuckles. Ojiro. When you stepped into his house, you smiled and cheered yourself up in an instant. You had had a long day, and only Class C students had to attend UA due to private exams. Not only were you exhausted, but you were also a bit down and rather lonely without him clinging and checking up on you. "Ojiro," you grinned. Without hesitation, you went up over to him. He was lying on the couch, and you plopped onto him. You hugged him tightly, and all of that affection caused him to blush and hold you closer. "Glad to see you too," he chuckled softly. After kissing him deeply on the lips, you nuzzled your face into his neck crease and hummed. "You're tired?" he asked. You nodded, and that caused him to smile and wrap his tail around you. "Me too." 10 minutes later, into that pleasant and comfortable nap the two of you shared, he woke up first. From there, he only stroked your hair and kept himself from falling asleep again. Tamamki Amajiki. After casting a portal into Tamaki's bedroom, you felt your heart melt to see the sight of him sleeping away in his bed. It was still early, but UA classes were out today. You wanted to see Tamamki and spend the day with him though, even if that meant curling up with him in bed. Since Tamaki's back was towards you, you slowly crawled into his bed, and underneath the thick blankets he bundled in. "He's so warm," you whispered. "And a drooler." Once you wrapped your arms around his sides and nuzzled your head into his upper back, it didn't take you long to fall asleep either. When feeling your arms wrapped around him after he woke up, Tamamki felt tense out of unsureness. He sat up and faced you, but blush took over his face when seeing your sleeping form. "Listener? Oh, they're asleep," he whispered. After stroking a few strands of your hair to the side, he smiled and lied back down. "So cute." Tamamki pulled you close to him. Even though his breathing was shaky, he held you tightly. "You're safe," he smiled. Mirio. You continued to laugh faintly while trying to explain a rather embarrassing story to Mirio, who was over at your house today and sitting beside you on the sofa of your living room, after he questioned you about a family photo that was hung up next to the television. Once you calmed down and kept yourself from laughing uncontrollably again, Mirio pulled you into his lap and nuzzled his lips into your neck crease. "Oh, Sunshine, you tired me out a bit," he chuckled. Before you could make a remark, Mirio flopped onto his side with you in his arms. He held you tight in a spooning position, then hummed and kissed your cheek. "I always wanted to hold you close like this," he whispered. Even though you were beyond a blushing mess, you also wanted and felt the same in the moment to happen. With that being said, it didn't take either of you long to fall asleep. An hour went by and Mirio was half asleep while holding you close and rubbing your back gently in circles. Alright, so that's the end of this one. I hope you enjoyed. And with that, that comes to the end of multiple characters, at least for like a week or so. Hopefully, we'll see. I just felt like we were missing quite a few, so I wanted to kind of add some back in. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this like 5-day period. Music link, fanfic link, Discord link, and thumbnail art link are all going to be in the description. I hope you have a great rest of your day, night, whatever, and I hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye!